take a seat. Okay, beautiful to see Fleur and Darren this morning with Samuel. I want you to think about blessing another child this morning. We have a fantastic display over in the corner behind us with all the balloons. This is the start of Christmas in a shoebox. For the next 2 weeks that's going to be available. It's $21 to buy a shoebox to bless a child overseas. We're going to give some thought to that. Inside your newsletter you'll find some more information about that. Masters Games, if you're 28 plus, Masters Games is for you. This Sunday, today, is the last time you can register for that. That is on the 9th of October. It's $45 for the day, it's on a Saturday, and that will include lunch and dinner and 3 games. If you're interested in that, please see Sarah Bagley after the service. And inside your newsletter as you came in, you also would have received a care card. This is how we communicate with each other in the church. If you're new with us, we'd love to hear from you. If you want to pop your details down there, if you'd like any more information about anything that's going on in the life of the church, there's a few little boxes there that you can tick. And if you'd like to send an encouraging word or praise point or put in a prayer point, you can pop that on the bottom there and pop that care card into the offering buckets as they go around in a minute. And just up on the screen will be church news.
Faith that God will use what we give for His glory. Faith that when we honour God with our tithes, He will provide. Sitting across from the offering box, Jesus was observing how the crowd tossed money in for the collection. Many of the rich were making large contributions, but one poor widow came up and put in 2 small coins, a measly 2 cents. Jesus called his disciples over and said, "The truth is that this poor widow gave more to the collection than all the others put together. They all gave what they'll never miss, yet she gave extravagantly what she couldn't afford. She gave her all." To give is to trust. To give is to have faith. Church, let's stand. Having tithes and offerings about to be passed around, you can pop them in there and you can come.
Please be seated. What a great song. I'm always expecting, when I come to the house of God, I'm expecting God's going to do something fantastic. And he always does. Hey, could I just encourage you to check out your newsletter? Because in there, Christmas in a Shoebox, as Pastor Les mentioned, celebration dinner. You can sign up for that right now. Get your name down for that 30th of October. Don't miss out. 30th of October celebration dinner. Love you all to be there. Really want you all to be there. So check out everything on here. Shake Class. Shake Class. I'm going to say more about that during the message this morning. Great to be here, and great to celebrate this morning with Fleur and Darren and Samuel. It's fantastic. It really is. Well, we're talking about excellence, and God is a God of excellence, isn't He? God is a God of excellence. He has excellent qualities, and He inspires us to excellence. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9 in the GWT, we were chosen to tell about the excellent qualities of God. And so, we were created in the image of God to be men and women of excellence. And we've fallen from what we were created to be, but we were redeemed to tell the world about the excellent qualities of God. When you think about the image that we were created in the image of God, who is a God of excellence, the image is still discernible in us, but we are a little bit battered and beaten, not quite what we were. It's a bit like a motor car, no matter what your favourite brand of car is. If you're a Ford man, you see some battered and beaten Fords around the place. It's discernible they're still created in the image that the Ford wanted them to be, but they are not quite going along with excellence anymore. And what is true of Fords is true of any other brand of car. If they're beaten up, you can still discern what they really were, but they're not performing to the excellence that they were created to perform to. And so it is with us. You can still discern in every human being the image of God, but we are not now operating according to the excellence which God created us to operate to. Nevertheless, within each one of us is the seed of the idea and the ideal of excellence. And now what God does, He calls us to surrender our lives to Christ, that we might be recreated in the image of Christ, so that once more we might rise to the ideal of excellence. 2 Corinthians 3:18 in the RSV. And we all, with unveiled face, beholding the glory of the Lord, are being changed into His likeness from one degree of glory to another. Once we surrender our lives to Christ, we are to be changed bit by bit to be more and more like Jesus. We can begin once more to rise to the ideal of excellence. But in order to begin to rise to the ideal of excellence, first that idea and that ideal must find its place in our thinking. Begins in our thinking. Proverbs 23 verse 7 in the New King James Bible says, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." It's worth saying it together, though, isn't it? Let's do it together. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So excellence or lack of it starts in the way that you think. That's where it all starts. You will not act with excellence. You will not work with excellence. You will not relate with excellence. You will not serve with excellence. You will not lead with excellence until you begin to think with excellence. So, fill your thinking with excellent thoughts. Listen to this. Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is, what? Excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Think with excellence. Let's all say the word excellence. 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 So get rid of negative, cynical thinking. Get rid of fault-finding, nitpicking thoughts. The ideal of excellence begins with the focus of your thought life, where your thinking is. And your actions and your behavior will find a level of excellence according to the level of excellence in your thinking. 1 Corinthians 12:31 in the New King James. But earnestly desire the best gifts, and I will show you a more excellent way. Thank you. The excellent way and the excellent actions flow from excellent thinking. And excellent actions result in rapid progress in your life. Ezra 5:8 in the GWT, the builders are doing an, what? Excellent job and are making rapid progress. And you will, once you get your excellent thinking right. The ideal of excellence begins in our thinking and is translated into our actions. Now, last Sunday we began this series and we began to talk about the excellent ideal of fatherhood. And I hope that blessed you. And if you weren't here for that, these messages are all available, podcast, purchase the CD, YouTube, and all the stuff this morning will be on YouTube. And unless you don't want yourself being negative, let us know about that. If you really don't want to. I remember we had Mark Wilson, Pastor Mark Wilson, preach here a couple of weeks ago. Took him out to lunch afterwards, and I said, everyone will be watching you all around the world, my friend, now on YouTube. He said, what? I said, if you're not okay with that, tell me now. Well, pull it. He said, oh, I guess it's all right. And I thought he protested too much. He just wanted to be famous. He really did. So, get the message. Last week we started about excellence and the ideal of fatherhood. This morning we want to talk about excellence in ministry. We serve the most excellent God. We really do. And we serve Him in the context of His church. And I believe that we need to honour Him with the most excellent of ministry. And here's a thought that you need to banish from your thinking. It's only church and we shouldn't be really too bothered about excellence here. We'll get by, and if someone doesn't do it, someone else will fill in. That thought needs to be banished. Drive it out of the church. We need, if you've got that thinking, you need to take hold of yourself and give yourself a good, strong, hard talking to and say, I want excellence in my life. And I want to minister with excellence. We serve the King of Kings. He's the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings. And we need to focus our thinking on the most excellent God that we worship. And think of the excellence that the King of Kings, that is His. We need to give it to Him, and we need to let that govern our thinking. We need to rise above the level of mediocrity, and any old thing will do. And we need to get rid of, Chuck Swindoll, an author and pastor, writes about getting rid of the second-hand junk mentality for church herders.
Yes.
And get rid of the goose teabag mentality. And some of you don't know what that is. And praise God. But apparently some churches and some Christians to overseas missionaries send used tea bags, and they're going to bless them, and along with second-hand junk that they would never wear and never use themselves. So we need to get... So the very first thing about excellence in ministry is to get settled in our thinking that God and the bride of Christ, the church, deserve the best. Deserve excellence. The book of Malachi is the last book in your Old Testament. You might just want to go home and read that sometime today or this week, book of Malachi. And one of the key thoughts expressed in the book of Malachi is that the people were shortchanging God. They're shortchanging Him. They were shortchanging Him in 4 ways. And each one of these ways is related to the breaking of the covenant that they had with Him, the agreement, the holy agreement. Number 1, they broke the covenant through unfaithfulness in marriage. And number 2, they broke the covenant through injustice, dealing harshly with people. Number 3, they broke the covenant through withholding the tithe, the tenth of everything that they should give to God. And number 4, they broke the covenant through bringing God what Malachi calls blemished lambs. And this is a great concept, this blemished lambs, a concept that we need to banish from our thinking and our actions. So blemished lamb. I want you to remember the concept of blemished lambs. So let's all say together. Blemished lambs. We're not bringing blemished lambs, right? No more blemished lambs. So when it came to bringing the animals that they were bringing for sacrifices, that they were supposed to be bringing to honour God, they're supposed to bring the best. They're supposed to bring the firstborn. They're supposed to bring the best lambs, I forgot. But they were bringing lambs they could not sell in the market. They were bringing the old blind lambs, the ones that are on their last legs, ones they get no money for at the market. They were bringing wounded and lame old sheep, the injured and diseased old sheep, blemished lambs. They bring them to God. And there is nothing excellent or honouring about bringing God blemished lambs. Now, here's the thing, guys. We need to apply this. God is not asking you to bring a sheep, all right? We're not going to put it on the altar here, the sheep. God's not asking you. He's asking us to bring Him ourselves and our worship and our service. And He's asking us to bring Him the best service and the best worship. Not, oh, if I've got some time left, I'll go on the roster. Oh, if I can squeeze it in, I'll go to church once a month. He's asking us to bring Him the best, to sign it off to Him. The best and focused service and worship all of the time, not just some of the time when we can fit it in. So He's asking us to remain focused and dedicated, paying attention to detail, so that we serve Him with excellence, wholeheartedly and sincerely. No more blemished lambs.